Okay. All right. Thank you. Gentlemen, I appreciate your service. I've been impressed with your diligence and your honesty and your integrity in this very difficult environment that we find ourselves in. And basically, it's a situation where the majority is hurting this country. We're hurting our country with what we're doing today. What we're doing today is holding an emergency hearing, a so-called emergency hearing based on allegations that political influence or political bias within the FBI and the DOJ has somehow led to a illegitimate result in the Hillary Clinton email investigation. That's an investigation that was conducted originally. It was conducted by the FBI and DOJ, no criminal charges filed, investigation closed. Then there was a Inspector General's investigation of that investigation. Those reports, or that report was issued last week. It found that there was no wrongdoing in the investigation of the investigation. And now today we have an investigation of the investigation of the investigation, and it's a emergency situation. Also a part of this hearing is a attempt to investigate the ongoing criminal investigation into the allegations and indications of collusion and perhaps conspiracy with Russians in the conducting of the 2016 presidential election. And ominously, what the Republicans are trying to do is force the FBI and DOJ to turn over to this committee investigating the investigators information, documents that go to the heart of the criminal investigation. It's been my experience that the criminal investigators never turn over information. They're never even asked to turn over information in an ongoing criminal investigation. Can you both comment on the uniqueness of what's happening today and the danger that it poses to justice in this country?
Congressman, I don't believe it poses any danger because we are not going to produce any documents that will interfere with an ongoing investigation. Well, as I said, in response to Mr. Jordan's question, we actually are producing the documents. It's a large volume of documents. It's taking a lot of time. And as I said, I thought he had a legitimate point about the redactions that made it appear as if the Bureau was concealing information. So we brought in Mr. Lausch. We changed the process. And I actually think, in reality, it's working quite well. And whatever anybody votes on is beyond my control.
Well, go ahead.
Congressman, we are committed to being responsive to legitimate congressional oversight. We're trying our hardest to produce documents as quickly as we possibly can and as completely as we possibly can. We also have an obligation to protect ongoing criminal and counterintelligence investigations. We also have an obligation to respect grand jury secrecy. We also have an obligation to protect sources and methods. And we're sworn to do those things just like we are to protect and be responsive to congressional oversight. And the Inspector General's report, ironically, the report that we're here to talk about, is very pointed on the subject as one of the principal failings that it found was commenting on an ongoing investigation publicly and with Congress. And so we take those lessons very seriously. We're trying to learn those lessons.
Well, Director Wray, threatening you with a subpoena, threatening you with contempt of Congress for noncompliance with a congressional subpoena puts you in a bad position, doesn't it?
Well, certainly when I was minding my own business in private practice in Atlanta, I didn't think I was going to be spending the first 10 months of my job staring down the barrel of a contempt citation for conduct that occurred long before I even thought about being FBI director. Having said that, I am committed to making sure that we're responsive to these committees. And to the extent that we can do better, we're trying to do better.
Well, there's certain information.
But at the same time, in my experience, there are two principles that have to be balanced. Responsiveness to congressional oversight, which is very important to me personally, but also respecting ongoing criminal investigations, which is also very important.
And there's certain information that you cannot provide to this committee based on the ongoing nature of the criminal investigation. Is that correct?
Yes.
The time of the gentleman has expired. The committee will stand in recess. There's 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in a vote on the floor, and we will reconvene as soon as that vote concludes.